Hi, welcome to our channel. You see, today I'm alone, but I'm still saying our channel. Basically, what I mean is this channel is mine and yours, so that makes it our channel. So the reason I started watching some songs or some information, some knowledge, sharing with you, watching together, that was the whole purpose of having this channel, and knowing many things that sometimes I watched alone, sometimes you suggest me. That's like bring us closer to each other, our culture, uh, some things we do not know, something after sharing and watching we understand things better. So when we have number of brains watching same things and then we have a comments and we understand things better, that was the whole idea of having this channel and creating this kind of, because they call it reaction channel, so because there's no other category. So for me it's actually is watching, sharing things together with you. So knowing this, I have another suggestion. It is from somebody also from Philippines. They asking me to react one of the video, which is something different from what I reacted before, because we have done some reaction on our watch their singers and their life, but we're having something different, which let me read here. I have the link and I also have a bit of subtitle here, sorry, title here, which is the greatest lesson Bongbong Marcus learned from his father. So what is inside the video are yet to watch together with you, but I have a little bit a Google search, so, because I wanted to know what exactly I'm going to watch. So that was something I wanted to know. So actually it's this Bongbong is son of Ferdinand Marcos. I think the Ferdinand Marcos is one of the greatest leader and also a prime minister of Philippines. So they have they have two views. Some say the greatest, some have different opinion. So he's a son, which is having an interview with Toni talks. I don't know whether Toni is a reporter name, not sure. So they're having a conversation, a sort of interview where they are asking about his father, and he's sharing what he has learned from father. So let's not wait anymore. We watch together, and I'm sure I will miss many things because I have least knowledge about this. And watching with you, I'm sure you will accept me that I can. I think I'm not sure whether I'm able to comment anything or not. But let's watch together. Then we see what we are learning from here. Okay, let's watch this video together. Hang on, now this video is quite long, 28 minutes. So what I do, we watch parts, part 1 and part 2. So I'll make shortest like around 12 minutes with a part 1. Okay, so let's watch together. Bongbong markers.
Today I'm with a man who needs no introduction. We have with us the one and only Mr. Bongbong Marcos.
Hello, hello. So happy to be here.
Thank you very much.
No, I thank you for taking the trouble. Thank you.
Thank you very much for allowing us into your
interview is in
beautiful
his home.
Do you have a favorite part here in your house?
Well, having grown up as a student, I got used to living in one room. So I have my desk in my bedroom, so that I basically spend most of my time when I'm in the house. I was in there for 72 days.
In your room?
In the room.
What were you doing inside the room?
Driving myself crazy, basically. Well, when you're ill, you don't really mind the passage of time. So
you're talking about the time when you got COVID.
Yeah, when I got COVID. So if you're not feeling bad, you don't really worry about it. I knew I was better because I was getting very bored and just think, when can I get out of here? When can I get out of here?
Do you have a morning routine po?
Well, yeah.
Like what time do you usually wake up?
I'm usually up by 7, but after cleaning my teeth, I go straight to the computer and look messages and answer my mail and see what's happening, what I missed from the night before.
So hindi kayo nagbe-breakfast, Sir Bong?
I fast.
Is that the intermittent fasting?
The intermittent fasting. Yeah, it seems to work for me. Sometimes I forget that I fasted and haven't eaten, and I'll go and exercise.
What's your exercise po?
Gym. Because my schedule's so crazy, I can't do it like before. So that's what I do now. Just to have to stay fit, especially after COVID. It's my father's influence. My father was, before the term was invented, he was a health freak. And he would exercise at least an hour a day, sometimes twice a day.
So you would see him exercise when you were
He would
regularly?
He would bring us to the gym. He said, "Come," when we were little.
Since you talked about your father, when you were born, he was already in politics.
Yes. He became congressman in 47, and then senator in 57.
That's the time you were born?
That's the year I was born. Yeah. Actually, I think he was always in politics, at least in his mind. When I became governor of Ilocos Norte, I got to talk, since I was spending all my time there, I got to talk to some of his friends and the people who were around him when he was still living in Ilocos. And they said, 16 years old pa lang yan, may kabinete na yan.
Really?
Talagang my father is one of those, I suppose, the most single-minded person I've ever known. If it had nothing to do with his work, he just wouldn't spend time on it.
Saan po kayo pinanganak?
San Juan. No, pinanganak ako dun. So we lived in our house, which is still there, until 1965, when he won the presidency and we moved na to the palace.
He won his presidency in 1965. You were 7 years old.
Yeah, because I remember my first birthday in the palace was my 8th birthday.
What was that like?
Oh, it's amazing because my dad brought me to school. He woke me up. He came into my room. I was changing, ready to go to school. And he said, "Come, it's your birthday, I'll bring you." So he brought me. And I cannot forget, and my classmates cannot forget, there were those two yung ice cream. Nagbebenta ng sorbetes, Magnolia, and then Selecta pa nun, hindi ba?
Yes.
So, dalawa sila. So my dad made it Pacquiao. He said, we paid them some money, and he said, lahat ng hihingi ng ice cream, libre at habong araw kasi birthday ng anak ko. So I was the most popular guy.
Anong school po kayo pumapasok
Lasal
doon?
Green Hills. In Ortigas, yeah.
So at 8 years old, you already lived in the palace. What was that like, growing up in Malacanang, in the palace?
Well, in the early days, masaya kasi ang daming...
Kaya, ang daming rooms, ang laki.
Ang daming pupuntahan, ang daming mong... You go down to the kitchen, you mess around with the cooks, and then you go to the CQ, you mess around with them, you play with them, you go to the park. So there's many places to go.
Anong favorite place yun nun sa Malacanang?
I used to end up hanging out with the CQ all the time. I guess with the guys, you know. The palace was so interesting. But as the time went on, the private part of the palace became smaller and smaller, and the office part of the palace became bigger and bigger. There was at one time that I came out in my pajamas, and my father was approaching with a state visitor. So I said, okay, that's not happening again. You do not leave your room until you're completely ready to see people.
How was your relationship with your father?
With my dad?
Time na yun? Was he a disciplinarian? Was he strict with
Yeah,
you?
he was. His only thing was study hard. Yun lang talaga. Basta work hard, study hard. That was his main thing. As long as you're studying hard, you're okay with him.
You got a lot of his traits. Kasi nga, di ba, you grew up watching him sa stage, giving speeches. So, marami sa mannerisms niya. Even yung size niya, nakuha niyo.
Yeah, ang katawan namin is remarkably similar. From shoe size to waist, everything. That's why I was one of the lucky ones that when binibigyan siya ng regalo, I would raid his closet. My mannerisms, especially speaking, is very much my dad's. But syempre, from the time I was very small, we were already there in the back watching him make speeches. And he would teach a little bit about modulation and everything, but voice modulation and things like that. But mostly what he would insist upon when we started having to speak was that learn it, don't read. The one thing that's also that everybody says is my voice, is that we have the same voice.
Di ba po when your dad was a president, sinasama niya kayo sa lahat ng kanyang mga visits in different parts of the world, and you have met some of the most powerful and influential people. You have even met the royal family.
Yes. Some of the funnest parts would be my mom would call and says, I'm going to meet Generalissimo Franco in Spain. You want to come? Of course. Get out of school, number one. Di ba? And we'd go. I'm going to see the Pope. Sama ka. Sama kami. I think it was a conscious effort of my parents to expose us. Because even the travel, like they would go to the provinces or they would go to especially yung mga bagyo, yung mga ganon. Sinasama lagi kami. We were always there. So I think it was my parents that they really wanted us to see everything.
Sino po yung na-meet nyo that made a huge impact in your life na hindi nyo makakalimutan?
Madami masyado. I've met most of the popes. I've met most of the secretary generals of the UN. In fact, I've met them all since youthant. Si Indira Gandhi was one who really impressed me, and Maggie Thatcher.
What do you think is the greatest lesson that you've learned from your father?
Oh my, I learned so much from him, it's hard to. When it comes to work, marami siyang, like things like when you walk into a room, the guy, if you're walking to a negotiation, whoever knows more wins. So I've always held that. Always work hard, hard work is always rewarded, things like that. He was not the type to sit you down and say, ano mo, anak, ang ganito, ganyan. Hindi, basta say, ito yung gagawin natin. He would be with his cabinet members, and they would be talking about something pretty important. And he would suddenly turn to me, what do you think? Like,
Ilan taong kayo?
I was 16, 17, he was already turning to me and said, what do you think? But when he asks you a question, it's not because he wants to know the answer. He wants to know if you know the answer. He's testing you. Kasi inaral na niya yan, alam na niya yan. So, come prepared.
From your mother naman po?
From my mother, well, of course, it's the certain thing.
He loves music as well.
Of the arts. Because our house always had music playing. She was the one who used to take us to the theater, take us to museums. It really was her point of joy, really, was the arts. It wasn't normal. You didn't have there wasn't such a thing as a normal day. Every day was different. What formed the way I do things is how my father or my mother would react. It's having watched both of them handling the problems that they were confronted with on a daily basis. I think that's what really made my own personality when it came to such things. I would say that the many incidents that I watched them handle really taught me how to approach problems, how to take the challenges that inevitably come up.
Speaking of yung handling life situations and problems when people were marching towards EDSA, how did your father handle that situation?
My father called me and he said, we have intelligence that this is about, these people are moving, and this is what they're going to do. I'm assigning you to work with the security to handle the defense of the palace. So that's from that day on, that's all I was doing. From that point, that Wednesday afternoon, naka-uniforme na ako eh. Because I just come out of the military also at that time. Kaya ako linagay, sabi niya, ikaw ang in charge sa defense ng palasyo.
How was your father nung time po na yun?
So he reverted back to his commander mode, wartime commander mode. Again, very calm, very measured.
So nung nangyayari po yung rally sa EDSA, ano yung sinabi niya sa inyo?
I remember saying, yung kalaban, sabi, ginigera na tayo. And he answered me. He said, I have spent my whole life defending Filipinos. I cannot hurt them now. That was it. Baba, put your guns down. Say, we're not shooting anyone.
Okay, so we watched today until here the rest of the part, I will make a part 2 where we'll continue watching him. When they were saying that he literally is a politician, but I was thinking he will talk about the politics and all that, which I may not understand that. But it's a very simple interview. It's about his family, about his father. I think he has so much respect for father, and the people say he's one of the best prime minister, and some have different say. That is a debatable. I'm not sure. But he has a tremendous respect, and the way he himself is a very well-mannered. I'm sure the father will be wonderful also, and the way he answers, he doesn't look like a politician. He looks very honest type of person. That's my opinion. Okay, that's what my conclusion. Watching his short video, because the way he answers is humble. You do not think that he is talking like a politician talk, manipulate things and all that. He seems to be very honest. The way he talks, you can figure out. I'm sure everybody have a sense when people talk and how he looks very simple. Even he has a life in palace and maybe also have a good background, but there's no arrogance. He is kind, gentle. The way he answering to the reporter. That says a lot about him. Okay, so I'm sure this is just a beginning where he's just introducing his childhood, schooling, friends, and a lot more things about his childhood, and also the connection with his father. So we have another part where I'm sure will be hit up, and they will talk about other things which we need to know, and I'm really excited to know about that. So we will meet again soon with that part second. So please do watch that. Okay. Till that, you take care and stay safe.